This year, bless.
Bang bang to the gang. Faithful boys in the building. Benjamin Ness, P Warrior _9 up. We would like to welcome Prez and Uncle Keith. You know what I'm saying? What's good with everybody?
Outstanding over here, bro. You ready?
Oh, I know that's right. We chomping at the bit. Y'all know what time it is. It's football time. You know what I'm saying?
Football
It's
in
time to
there.
slang. Yeah, man. Shit. Let's get it popping, baby.
I'm trying
You
to tell
feel
you.
me? We back. Training camp then popped off. Y'all already know all off season to me is really about the quarterback position, as to me it's been through Shanahan's tenure, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
So gonna hit y'all with a couple different hot tracks. I know we're gonna talk about the quarterbacks, the running backs for sure. Hopefully we could cover the wide receivers a little bit too. I'm expecting big things from Ayuk, as I figure y'all are too. So shit, let's get it popping, fellas. I don't know who won't start spitballing first about these quarterbacks, but I think I'll start at the bottom with prayers. You know what I'm saying? Since y'all kind of new, we're gonna start off with prayers, swing it down to Pete, then go ahead on hit him with it, P Warrior.
All right.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's good to see them all back, all getting reps. Glad that Purdy's far above the curve of where it was said he was going to be. What we were all hoping. So I think that's the biggest thing is I think we're real fortunate to be able to go into this starting training camp with everybody there. And so it's out to get go from the very who they looking for and everything like that. And so I mean, I'm big. Me personally, I'm big on Purdy, man. I definitely think that's where it's at, and I think we got a lot of growing with him in a positive way. I mean, his last year, I mean, 31 points a game. You know what I'm saying? 31 points a game. We can't ask for more than that. I don't feel so. It's good to have him back. It's good to see everybody. Yeah, we're gonna see how it falls out.
I'm most excited about QB2, who that's going to be. I think that's bringing Sam Darnold in really pushed Trey Lance. And the receiving core is saying that ball is hitting him at the top of the route. It's accurate. His footwork has been tremendous. When Ayuk starts saying praises about Trey Lance, that's telling you something. That's receiver number one. The other thing is Purdy is still commanding the locker room. His presence on the field, they show him complete deference, and he still has that snap in that arm. Okay? So I think, number one, we already know who that is. He's earned the right. He went out on the shield, no doubt. But QB2 is going to be fun to watch. You bring a guy in there after having the guy sit and lose his job to injury, like Trey Lance did, and you make him go out there and earn it. I think the best thing the 49ers could have done was to bring an experienced quarterback in to push Trey Lance. And also, if Trey Lance wants a job beyond next season, he's going to have to show him something this year. QB2, to be determined.
Talk to me, Pete Warrior.
Well, first off, fellas, glad to have y'all in. Bang, bang, till we can't no more. Y'all know what that is.
Bang, bang.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think the best case scenario was Purdy wasn't on PUP. You know, because everybody was anticipating he was going to be on PUP, and you know, Lynch and Shanahan had their press conference, said he was fully cleared, so that was excellent news. But I got to agree with Uncle Keith. You know, we know he the starter. He didn't earn the right. He went out there. He produced. He did what he had to do. But who is going to be, you know, behind him? Now, to me, I think it's going to be Trey Lance ultimately, because I think Trey Lance is healthy. You know, he didn't grinded and put in the work with the footwork and with the accuracy. He went with Mahomes quarterback, guru person. So, that Trey want to prove that, y'all didn't give up all these draft picks for me not to be a player, for me not to produce. You know what I'm saying? And I got to agree with Uncle Keith, this ain't just for this season, it's beyond, you know what I'm saying? So I think, when the preseason games start, we know Purdy ain't playing. It's going to be Lance and it's going to be Darnold out there getting the majority of the snaps. Maybe they'll throw Brandon Allen in there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't putting Purdy out there till the first game. We know that. So this time for Trey to come in and go with the first team offense and, make the plays and show that he can be that guy, God forbid something happen to Purdy. He, ain't rusty or whatever the case is. We know, we going to need two. And really, to me, Sam Darnold is the insurance for them too. Just in case, something was to happen catastrophic, which we don't need no more of that. We don't need no more of that, but at least we know if it was to happen, which we don't want it to, he could come in there and produce. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's Purdy, it's going to be Lance, and then Darnold will be the insurance guy.
Fellas, and I respect what y'all saying, and I understand why y'all saying it. I don't know if y'all can see my face totally, but every time y'all see Purdy name, I kind of frown a little bit. You feel me? And because I don't.
Well, come on, man, speak your piece.
Because it sounds worse than it is, but like, come on, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I appreciate what he did last year, but I ain't sold, bro. You feel me? I think it's Jimmy G with better feet. I don't think he make the offense any more dynamic than it's already been. I think at the end of the day, we still beholden all to Kyle. And for as good as he can scheme up shit, to me, we need something more than a scheme. That's why we drafted Trey in the first place. So ultimately, I'm saying all that to say whatever happened with Brock, I wish him well. But by the end of the season, I hope Trey Lance is the starting quarterback of the 49ers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You done ate the steak and complaining about the bone. Come on, man. And it was a good steak.
But to me, it wasn't really that good. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors there to me with that whole situation. You feel me? Like, but if a fifth, however the saying go, you feel me? We all be drunk, so I gotta kind of let it go. But I'm just not sold personally, bro.
The biggest challenge I have with us and Purdy is what you said. It goes back to the Shanna plan. Without a good scheme, it doesn't matter who's behind the scene. All right. I'm thinking, though, Purdy is a better improviser than anybody on the team. And that's where the magic came from, for me personally. All right. With all the limitations of Shanahan's conservative play calling and fear, you got a guy that's fearless out there, and that's a perfect balance to that. Trey Lance was retaught how to throw the ball this offseason because he has all the talents and skills in the world. I'd love for him to be QB1, but not at the expense of the heart of the team. And I think Purdy gives you that. All right, Ben, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to give you back the steak.
No, bro. I feel you, though, because, like,
it's written all over your face.
And it's going to be all season, bro. Like, because I feel you when you talking about how he have the locker room, you know what I'm saying? They respect him, so forth and so on. And it could be real early, and I could be just going with, a little bit too much of what I'm hearing and putting too much stake in it early. But, man, they talking about how good Trey look.
Are you looking for a controversy?
No,
QB1?
I'm not.
Do you want him to compete?
Yeah, because
when you want the competition to start by letting Trey start the season and see if Purdy can earn his way back on the field?
If Purdy healthy, why not let him bang it out and see who earned the job? And I understand he'd have to have limited reps and all this shit, but at the end of the day, just because you won the 8 games, to me, I'm not sold. Jimmy G won what? He went 5-0 when he first started. Everybody know the win percentage, all this shit, and all the game. He's still not that dude. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. I would prefer them to bang it out and the best man winning. If that's Purdy, cool. Both of y'all coming off injury.
I mean, I don't think there's nothing that can be done that's going to take this job away from Purdy.
Real, because he's not gonna have to compete for the motherfucker.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just, me personally, I've been highly unimpressed with Trey Lance.
I ain't mad at you.
Highly unimpressed. Like, I mean, his games were mediocre. He didn't have no standout game. I mean, he had a real shot in week 17, first year against Houston, and that first half was not it.
Prez, one question for you though, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm considering that, he beanballing that bit, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, do you think that Shanahan and them put him in a position to be successful? Did they call plays? You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's a lot that go there when you say you're not impressed, because to me, they ain't do nothing to really, you see what I'm saying?
Mean, yes, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But then the question comes down to is, why did Shanahan not allow him? That's my thing. Why was he not allowed? And
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Because he didn't want. He didn't earn his trust. That's my. He didn't earn Shanahan's trust to do that, because we watched Purdy come in and immediately
take over.
Giving everything. All aspects of the playbook were given to him.
Purdy also had the guts to go off script in his very first game.
Well, if we being honest, Trey Lance has ran the ball more than he's thrown it since college.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people don't talk about, is that in college he ran more than he threw.
I agree.
So it's just like,
you can't do that in the NFL.
I just compared to Brock Purdy, because don't get me wrong, because last year, because I'm a Jimmy supporter, man. That was my thing. I didn't think Purdy was gonna make the roster. I didn't come out a Purdy fan. Me and Uncle Heath had many.
You know what? I got my notes from July 22nd, 2022.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. They said you guys are missing the boat on Purdy. This guy's got an intangible called heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and football IQ with all the games he played in college and high school. And what does his daddy do for a living?
But Uncle Keith, this is my thing. And don't get me wrong, because I know they get it wrong all the time, but all this heart intangibles, all this playing experience, they scouted your ass and you was the last pick in the draft. And I know that can't quantify heart, but don't make it seem like he had all these measurables that were so desirable.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
He didn't, and he was playing in the Big 12, so he wasn't playing against some defenses that are predicated. But most quarterbacks that go down in the Hall of Fame, they weren't first rounders. They weren't second rounders.
Wasn't Brady a seventh rounder?
They weren't third rounders.
Huh?
Brady was a 6th round pick.
6th round, yeah. Okay.
So I mean, I think it's hard. I really, especially with the quarterback position, I mean, I think it's really hard to take where they were drafted as a measuring stick, because we done seen way more top 10 quarterbacks out the league in 5 years, 6, 7, or less. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the one position. I think in all of sports where draft stock doesn't necessarily. Well, and the higher you're drafted, the shorter
more expected.
You're shorter your leash. You know what I'm saying? Because all that pressure and everything. And the fact is, I think ultimately the biggest difference between Purdy and Trey Lance, besides years, besides reps, is the biggest difference is the type of competition that he's played against. 4
Please,
years,
bro.
and don't get me wrong, because the Big 12 ain't like that. I'm not saying the Big 12 is like that, especially from an offense going
Oh
against a
no,
defense.
Prez. I know nothing about college, bro. So I couldn't
Yeah,
tell you if it's
yeah. So I'm not vouching because he came from the Big 12, but I am vouching playing the type of opponent that he's playing. It's closer to the NFL than where Trey Lance was coming from, and reps matter. Reps matter, and another thing that he got now on top of Trey Lance, in my opinion, is 9 games at the NFL level.
Yep.
Well,
And it's just like it's too much stacked up, in my opinion.
real shit though. Now you
For
right
Trey
though.
Lance, for Trey Lance to overcome. I'll be honest, man. If Purdy is healthy and he's not the quarterback week 1, Shanahan's fucked up. Like it don't make no sense. Like to me, it don't make no sense other than where he was drafted, and it was like, bro, you should have drafted Fields. Like what? Why we drafted Trey Lance where we drafted him? I've never understood personally. And it's just like I think he bombed it. I honestly don't think that Kyle Shanahan can develop quarterbacks.
I totally agree.
can I chime in on this?
By all means, sir.
With Purdy? I think that I'm convinced that Purdy is the long-term starter. And the game that convinced me was a Tampa Bay game against Tom Brady.
Smoked him, bro. Smoked him.
And I think, I think Trey can be a great quarterback. Injuries and just not playing enough college football have hurt him. Really. I think they saw potential in terms of what he could become. Now, Shanahan running him the way he ran him the first couple of games and he got hurt, that wasn't right. But he was trying to install a similar offense of what he knew when he was in college.
I agree.
That didn't help him. Now, he's healthy. He knew he had to tighten up the mechanics, and at least he got enough common sense to say, man, I won't be great. I'm going to go to where the best quarterback is getting his tutelage. So you got to give him his kudos for that. He's going to work hard. I think he still got potential because we know the great equalizer is injury. Unfortunately for us, we know it too often. But for what a team is now, with the weapons that they have, Purdy is the guy. Because Purdy runs the system the way Shanahan wants it run. The offense is a read and a timing offense. Purdy gets that ball out on time in the right areas to the right people. We don't need Purdy to be
y'all ass.
None of that. Okay.
I got something for you.
Okay, well, hold on. But
wait a minute. Where come the magic dust?
We just need Purdy to be the point guard for the offense, to get it to the playmakers out there, get it to the Devos and the McCaffreys.
Yeah, she's on medication. She's resting. I gotta call you back. I'm on the podcast. By the way.
So
sorry about that. I got a sister in the hospital. She good.
So no. We don't need Purdy to be spectacular. We just need you to make the normal play. Shanahan offense is designed for Purdy. That's why he let Purdy go loose. He couldn't do that with Trey Lance because he knew Trey Lance couldn't really fulfill the offense the way that it was supposed to be fulfilled. Not that it's a knock against Trey, but Purdy, with his experience playing in college and all of that, that helps too. And then just like Tom Brady, nobody was expecting Tom Brady to be Tom Brady. Well, we ain't saying Purdy gonna be Brady, but for what they have now, he give us the best chance to win the Super Bowl now because of the roster. Now, long term, it may be Trey Lance, but for right now, it's Purdy.
And that matters a lot in the decision making. I think we got to realize is not only is this a Super Bowl team, but this window is also starting to close because of the age of some of your players.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think a lot of this fall back on the coach. Uncle Keith, I saw you with your finger up. What you say, bro?
Well, I was just waiting to see what kind of pixie dust you had for us because you said you had something for us.
This what I'm about to say.
I got a knife and a fork now. Bring it.
Oh, well, look, check this out. It's going to be real tasty. Say, bro, everything y'all saying about Purdy is, I feel y'all. All I'm going to say is this. Y'all know one thing because we lived the shit at least 2 times with this regime.
Hmm.
When you play elite defenses, you need elite motherfuckers. When you playing an elite quarterback, because at the end of the day, bro, it's a quarterback-driven league. They devalued the running back position. We're going to get to them in a second, Uncle Keith. But
Hmm.
it's about the quarterbacks. At the end of the day, bro, you need somebody who could play above the X's and O's. Your head coach already told you that he just not man enough to stand on his word. That's really why we in this fucking situation. Because he wasn't man enough to say, I run the locker room, y'all niggas get on board with this. Just calling a spade a spade. I understand you don't want, but at the end of the day, I'm head. I call shots. Y'all get on board because I already told y'all this what we need. We need a quarterback who could play above the X's and O's. You you supposedly drafted that, and I feel you, Prez, because to me, you go at what you know in Justin Fields, right?
Hmm.
But since you took
A
Trey
thousand
Lance,
percent.
you feel me? And
1,000%.
he's supposed to have all this arm talent. And one thing that nobody like to talk about, since they always want to talk about all this mechanical deficiencies, is he was supposedly the smartest quarterback in the draft, I believe, above Trevor Lawrence, but if not, at least on par with.
Oh, Fields
So
was rated the most.
no, I'm Trey Lance, not
No, no, no.
Fields.
It was Trey
Trey
Lance. It was
Lance
Trey
I'm
Lance.
IQ
sorry.
to
Trey Lance.
process and all this
Football,
shit. He
yeah.
was under center. Shanahan can't develop quarterbacks, like you said, Prez. And at the end of the day, you tried to put him into a scheme that didn't fit him. He not the fast read option quarterback. All this shit fall back on the head coach, and we gave up buku
Oh
draft picks
yeah,
to get him. So
exactly.
so Purdy, he might could get us there. I don't like it. To me, if it come down to
You
him
know he
having to
did his
win us, but if he have to win it for us, dude, I don't have the faith he could win it. And to me, that's what you need in championship games. You need the player who could win it. The scheme not gonna necessarily, because nigga know the scheme. You see what I'm saying? Like they gonna sit on the short same shit. This just Jimmy G with better feet to me, and I'ma pass it.
well. Do you feel because hey, I think the biggest issue out of all this, and we've all kind of it is absolutely Kyle Shanahan's play calling. That is going to be it, and honestly, it really don't matter who the quarterback is because the games he called in the regular season, they are not the games that he called in the playoff. It's
Look, not in
no
the second half anyway.
come
Shit.
on, man. It's nowhere the same. It's nowhere the same. And this is year after year after year after year in the playoffs. Like this is so I think he's a big portion of the issue. Um and until we get a ring, I don't see it changing because all to me, it's very obvious watching him that he is constantly in his head about the losses that he suffered in the playoffs years after years after years. And I mean, watching that Dallas Cowboy in both games, both years, back to back, Shanahan will let a team stay in this game before he will risk in my opinion, making the plays that'll blow it open. We watched it in the first half of the Seattle game. That was a horrible first half by us. And then he got his 10-point lead, partly because of the defense and that first drive that we came out. Then he opened it up. Then everything comes out. But if we ain't got no 10-point lead, playoffs or regular season, Shanahan is he's one dimensional. He's one dimensional in his play calling and as far as what I've seen. And so I don't know, man. But I also don't think. Also in this is a run first offense, and it's always going to be a run first offense under him. And so I don't personally think that we're ever going to see a quarterback throw for 5,000 yards in this particular offense. And so sure, I think Trey Lance has potential to have a better deep ball. But if we talking the West Coast offense, we talking what Shanahan is playing and how he calls game. It's them quick throws, like Pete was saying. It's them quick throws, get it out, get it in space, hit them where they're supposed to. And where I feel like Purdy is the best quarterback that Shanahan's had, more so in the Kirk Cousins, Robert Griffin, RG3 aspect of it, is his mobility and his ability to extend the play and make those extra plays and make those extra runs. And so it's just like, to me, I think Purdy's perfect for it, for Shanahan. And ultimately, we made a big mistake because watching watching these teams with these first round draft picks, watching the Eagles, what they've done with their first rounders over these last 3 years compared to what we didn't have because we didn't have first rounders is ultimately the biggest thing killing us right now, in my opinion.
We were talking about two things between Ben, Prez, and P. Warrior stated it also. We're talking about football IQ. But I think the most relevant thing that I heard that really struck me, which describes Purdy, is playing above the X's and O's. Being able to be that outlier and go beyond the playbook. Trey Lance is limited by his football IQ because he's so structured and tied to it. So if you got a limited coach with the ability to call plays and be creative, and you got a person that's only going to follow what that coach tells you to do, then you don't have that outlier. One of the hardest things in defense about Purdy is his unpredictability and his ability to extend the play and to get the ball to where it's got to go. That is the variable we need. So that makes him perfect in my book for this team. This team has got running backs with incredible talent. It's got receivers with incredible talent, yards after the catch, a tight end. You just got to put the ball in the right place at the right time. And I think that's what we have in Purdy.
Man, you got to use Kittle.
Huh?
You got to use Kittle.
You got to get in the ball.
And so far, Purdy's been the only one that's been able to do that.
And do you know why? Purdy can allow Kittle to get open.
Yeah, 100%. And
Kittle,
he can make
Kittle never quits on a play. He plays the entire play to the end. And if you're there and the play's breaking down on the other side, Purdy's going to see that because it's good field vision. Athletes all through his family, coaches all through his family. He's been coached all his life. And his football IQ comes from football repetition and play. And I saw that early. The second preseason game he was in, and he did a naked scramble.
I can vouch. I can vouch for what he is saying right here. Man, I did the conversations that the arguments that me and him had over there. But he did see it because I damn sure didn't see it. So I feel what you're saying, Ben, because I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming. But man,
look, I will say how they say he got that moxie. He got a little swag with him. I ain't really trying to hate on him. I think
moxie is what it takes, though.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the head coach and how the whole situation went down. You feel me?
Well,
But I see you want to say something. People already do your thing.
Yeah, look, I think now that we saw what Purdy did, through the NFC Championship game, winning the games like he did, I think you're going to see Shanahan take the reins off more. Now, I watched that divisional game against the Cowboys. I think he had to play conservative because he knew he was playing a good team. He played to the strength, which was the running game and the defense, and he knew he just needed Purdy to make enough plays, and Purdy made enough plays to win that game. You couldn't put it all in his hands at that point because of who he was going against. So in that sense, while we didn't want him to be conservative, he played to the strength of the team. I think now that Purdy's back healthy, I think you're going to see the entire offense really come in a way that we've always wanted it to come. With the passing game, with the running game, because now you have all of the weapons, like I said. And I look at it as, in a lot of ways, I think he do got that clutch gene in him. You know what I'm saying?
And he
Just
don't think.
At the right time. He's going to be able to make the play at the right time. He ain't going to lose the game for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest thing. But I agree with y'all. Shanahan got to let him be himself and kind of, uncork himself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think I said that last year. Shanahan gotta be free his mind up too when it comes to that pressure situation. Because you have the team that can win it, and you got the quarterback that can make the plays to do what you need to do to win the game. So I think, once Purdy get the rust off and, get the repetition down with these boys, I think that the offense will go to another level. You know what I'm saying? Because if they stay healthy and the pieces that we have, all we need him to do is just pull a trigger. We don't need you to do nothing spectacular. Now, we know the goal is to get to the Super Bowl, and we might have to go up against Dak, or we have to go up against the boy from Philly. But I feel that Purdy, because he got that clutch gene and he got that, that mox, and he won't prove it too. He gonna show up he gonna be there. He gonna show up like we need him to. Just to prove that, you know what, I belong with him. You know what I'm saying? I might not have that athleticism that y'all have, but I ain't no scrub. I might have been irrelevant, but I ain't no irrelevant no more. I'm very relevant. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the biggest. That's the biggest thing is. It was like there's nobody that is going to be, especially of these quarterbacks that we're talking that we're going to see in the playoffs year after year.
Right.
That you're going to have to go into the Super Bowl. He was the lowest drafted out of all of them. Everything for him, it has to be proven. It's always had to be proven. Right. Even at Iowa State, it never goes away. It's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be enough. And that's exactly what Tom Brady had. That's exactly what he had to have. I ain't saying he's going to be Tom Brady, but it's the same setup. It's the same makeup. It's the same. I'm going to prove y'all over and over and over and over.
Everybody that passed on me. And that for Purdy, that's the entire league.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say this then, fellas. If y'all right, then I have no problem telling y'all I was wrong when we get that goddamn ring. You heard me? So shit, like, yeah,
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, for real though.
Because we got a schedule and we got to play them all. We got to play all the best.
That's why they play the game.
I know. I'm sorry, bro. Y'all got anything else y'all want to hit on with the quarterbacks?
It's too early right now. Just let them keep doing what they do. Let's put some sunshine on for right now. But we know who QB1 is.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the running backs then, bro. I know you was saying you had a little breakdown for us. You feel me?
Yeah, I did. I did. First, I want to talk about the running backs in the NFL. Period. There's been a major shift in the NFL that they've devalued the NFL to a point of almost conspiratorial. I mean, there's some collusion being involved. And I think it started with some good running backs that signed some big old contracts that did not perform and got injured shortly thereafter. And then the running back by committee, they tried that for a couple seasons. All right. Look at the number one running back in the league last year. Wasn't even offered a contract by the team he started for. You think about that. And then McCaffrey, he's going to get paid. There's one material difference, though. It comes down to what our society is telling us right now. Race is a factor. The most dominant prime position in football is a black running back. And now there's aim is a dime a dozen, a lot of guys that can run 4.5s and so on and so forth at 220 pounds. And you will never be worth more than 3 or 4 years because of the pounding the body takes. So why should we pay you long term? Let's use you, burn you up, you're fused. But this is a quarterback-driven league. We want to make our quarterbacks our heroes. We want to make them our studs. Those are going to be the guys that put the meat in the seats. All right. Now, McCaffrey's an outlier. He looks different than most of the other great running backs in the league. That puts meat in the seats. Here's a statistic for you. Do you know what the racial makeup of the average football stadium is on game day? 93% Caucasian.
I was going to say like 80.
But here's the crazy part. The minorities spend 57% of all revenue spent on the NFL.
Wow.
We just don't show up in the stands. They don't market to us. So our premier position that we played, because we took us forever to get into the quarterback position, and we don't get the same calls as the other quarterbacks do. They're still getting our guys killed. Is a running back. And they've completely devalued. How do you franchise tag the football player that was 1/3 of your offense on the Giants and not pay them?
You're killing it right now.
You said it.
How does that happen? I'm sorry, Chris.
Well, no, I think it's real simple. It's because at the end of the day, here's the fact about the NFL. There's 4 or 5 teams that every year can even have aspirations about winning a ring. Mm-hmm. There's playing for a Super Bowl.
Yep.
There's 2 or 3 that have real aspirations every year. Oh, we're gonna be here and we can win it. The rest of these teams don't go into a season pretending that these owners thinking that they're going to win a ring. And so at the end of the day, it's maximizing most money.
Yep.
How can you be the most entertaining? and how you gonna get the most people to watch you. And it's not gonna be by having a 2,000-yard running back.
You're right.
Good,
Absolutely.
good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah,
It's gonna be having that 5,000-yard quarterback, that 2,000, 1,500, 2,000-yard
Receiver.
wide receiver, scoring 30 to 40 points a game. And if you a hard-nosed defense, a run-first team, you know you can't score that amount of points in a game because you limit the game. And so a lot of these teams don't have aspirations of winning. So they have to go where the money goes, and that's the team structure. And under that, if you were an owner, are you paying a running back $15 million a year?
You're not. And there's a sociologist who said they used to call it the Larry Bird syndrome. You got to have something that looks like the market you target to put the meat in the seats. McCaffrey is an ideal Larry Bird syndrome person. Every team has one, and typically it's a tight end, or some position like that doesn't require the physical attributes of somebody who can take a pounding and run the damn ball. Do you know that the average rookie running back makes $600,000 less a year than a freshman kicker for the NFL? $2.4 million for a kicker, $1.8 million for a running back. Starting running back.
Shame.
And you're trying to tell me that's about athleticism and prowess and productivity and value to a team? No, it's not. So when we say run first offense, but all the money's focused where?
Quarterback.
But to jump on what you saying, that's what kind of boggled my mind, bro. And y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have the best memory. But in my mind, most elite quarterbacks have a fucking good running back.
They need one.
Like,
yeah, the best teams have the best running games.
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
You're not elite without me.
And most great running backs require touches at 20 to 25 touches per game.
Bro, not to mention a lot of these great quarterbacks, y'all fucking check down kings.
They have to be.
Drew Brees, so Brady, off the gate, like
check down.
The option route to the running back is the number one option running back. You know what I'm saying? So
when you think of Brady, do you think of him throwing the ball downfield or catching somebody in stride? Catch them in stride, a mid-level pass.
Yeah, I'm about to say, the only way I think about Brady and downfield is if Moss on that thing.
Well, that Moss is a different character. That was that's Hall of Fame first ballot, no doubt.
About it too, if you in that context, prior to Moss coming to New England, Brady wasn't throwing that ball deep. The most touchdowns he ever threw in the season was when he had Moss.
35 touchdowns in Moss.
To tight ends and running backs, because that was the strength of Brady, getting the ball out quick, being accurate.
Absolutely.
But then too, just to chime in on what y'all talking about, the running backs, back in the 80s when you had the Walter Paytons and you had the great running backs, it was a more value position because you had great running backs. But then the league obviously shifted to the more passing and all of that. But then you start going running back by committee. So that kind of devalued it too. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
Instead of having one running back that you knew could carry that rock and get you the tough yards to close a game, or you had the great running back like the Barry Sanders and the Walter Paytons and Emmitt Smith, then the league starts shifting to going to running back by committee. So instead of one guy really being able to, if he was a great running back, really get the touches because of the pounding, you start bringing in other good running backs. You figure, okay, well, we just going to have the philosophy to throw 2 or 3 good running backs instead of that one.
Oh, that's the illusion right there. The position's so valuable and we need it so much that we need to not let you take a pounder so we could be more efficient at running that bitch, yet we don't want to pay y'all to run the ball. You feel me? So nigga hit running back by committee, like they doing you a favor when in essence they.
So how
I'm gonna mention 3 names on the 49ers: Mitchell, Mason, and Usyk. Combined, they didn't run the ball 100 times last season. Think about that.
Well, because you got McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But here's the question.
Now Mitchell, averaged 6.2 yards per carry. Mason averaged 6 yards a carry. They need some more touches. For real.
How much of the running back position is predicated on a team's ability to have a good offensive line?
Ooh, I knew you were gonna say that, so I got something for you. Okay.
I think that's another reason you don't pay running backs, because I don't think a lot of teams have good offensive lines. And when you don't have a good offensive line, paying fit unless you got a Saquon or you got a McCaffrey.
Saquon Barkley, the right person to bring up right now, and I'll tell you why. With a terrible offensive line, a great running back, it actually has an advantage because the defense gets further in. When he gets past that line, he's got nothing to stop him from running.
True.
Yeah, they get quicker penetration.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a Trojan horse setup. We let you in, but I'm gone. Saquon Barkley's yards after he got from the line of scrimmage were tremendous. Now, here's where Debo's funky. You catch him in the backfield, he's going to break it for 40 because he's got the scatability. And he's also has what they call happy feet. He can move and motor. He don't have breakaway speed. He's got lateral speed, left and right. Some of those great plays he made last season. McCaffrey has a combination of both breakaway speed and lateral speed, which makes him so tremendous. Jordan Mason is a ground pound pile of dust. Let him punch the ball. Give him the damn ball. Elijah Mitchell, if he could stay healthy, I ain't so sold. I think I'd have Mason behind McCaffrey before I put Mitchell. That's my personal idea. Tyrone Davis-Price, this kid Ronald Awatt out of Texas El Paso, very flexible running back, 5'11", 205. Can catch the ball. Got good hands for catching the ball. And if we're talking about check downs, but I don't think very many of these guys are going to see very much action with McCaffrey on the field, Debo on the field, and Purdy with the ability to run the ball. Not as good as Trey Lance's, but still good enough. So we're a run-first offense, though. That's what I'm still trying to get in my head.
I think I was thinking on this earlier today. I think that Mitchell is going to be the huge X factor for them if he can stay healthy. And the reason why I say this is because I believe what Shanahan really wants to do is to really use McCaffrey as a receiver against linebackers. And I think if we can get McCaffrey in a slot, and you have a combination of, let's say, for example, you put him in a slot, you have Debo in the backfield, you got Mitchell in the backfield, or even if you bunch Debo and McCaffrey in a stack formation and you got Mitchell in that backfield, you don't know where that ball going. I really think that if Mitchell is healthy, which we know the last couple of years he haven't been, because Shanahan wore him in the ground his rookie year, really, because that's all he had, that he had confidence in to run the rock. You know what I'm saying? But I think if he's healthy, I think he could really be a factor, because really, McCaffrey going to get his touches out of the backfield running the ball, but I really think Shanahan want to use him as a receiver and have that threat of Debo back there, but really use, because we saw what McCaffrey was as a receiver, especially when Purdy was in there, to get him the ball in space, to use the screen game, that kind of stuff. I really think he want to use him as a receiver, to use him as a decoy in a lot of ways in a backfield, but really to get him in space as a receiver, because that's really going to keep him healthy, because we don't want McCaffrey getting all the touches. We don't want Elijah getting all the touches either. So I agree with you with Mason, but I really think that for that explosion and hitting the hole quick, it's Mitchell. Don't get me wrong, I like Mason. Mason a beast too. And I was thinking on that, I hope he get his run too. But I really think if Mitchell is healthy, Shanahan want to, especially in the second half of games, after he didn't use McCaffrey and Debo to bring that punch, and then sprinkle Mason in there too. So I'm really looking at Mitchell as that X factor. If he healthy, gonna give him another dimension back there, just because I think Shanahan want to use McCaffrey as a receiver, especially when he can get that advantage, that mismatch against linebackers or smaller defensive backs. So that's just my opinion, though.
I think that's a very fair opinion. I still have Mason ahead of Mitchell on my depth chart.
Yeah, I think Mason remind me of Marion Barber. That
Yeah.
boy, big, he be running that.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something I like about Mason. Mason has the Purdy factor also. He don't give up on a play. I saw him drag 3 defenders in a preseason game. Just drag them. Show him what he can do. You don't see that kind of heart every time out there on the field, man. And this team is motivated by heart. They started playing better when they had confidence in the quarterback that he would go out on his shield. You know, this kid came back into the last game of the season when he couldn't even lift his arm above his shoulder and played, made first downs. So that gives me a lot of cap. So this kid Mason and Mitchell, I hope you're right about Mitchell. That gives Mason another year to develop. But I think Mason is a beast. That's McCaffrey. We know what we're going to get out of McCaffrey. He's going to be an all-pro again. He's going to give us the touches we need, the flexibility we need. You're going to have to figure out a way to work Debo in the middle of all this. You got Kittle you got to satisfy. You got to get some Usek the ball sometimes. But the meat and potatoes is going to be right here, that number 2 running back. That number 2, you got to figure out who that is, who the best match for McCaffrey or the playoff McCaffrey is. And it can't always be Debo.
Well, I don't think it is Debo.
Well, you're talking about putting him back there in the backfield with him.
No, not me.
Oh, P-Warrior. I'm sorry.
I think they're gonna put him back there. As not maybe so much to run the ball, but to have that threat back there. You know what I'm saying? Like they kind of was trying to do in the playoffs when McCaffrey was there. They had them both back there. You know, it might have been against the Cowboys. So I think they're gonna do it. Now I don't necessarily think that they need to get the ball of Debo back there, but just to have that threat to say, okay, I got them both back there. You don't know who's gonna get the ball. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think they need to let Debo just be a receiver, you know, and let him do his thing that way. But I believe Shanahan gonna put him in, you know, all the different positions he can put him in to be a threat. But to me, it's Mitchell is the X factor, because if he's healthy, he's the number 2 guy, and he give you that burst, hitting them holes hard like we know he's capable of, and he bring that physicality to it too. He just got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing with him.
Yeah, I think their usage is all just gonna be situational. What lines up and where it's at. Because if it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, there's really no reason for anybody other than Mason to be getting the ball.
True.
Because ultimately, McCaffrey's usage in the playoffs last year is unacceptable.
Yeah.
You run him like that in the season, and he's not gonna make it out of the season. And you cannot. If there's anybody on this team that we cannot afford to lose, in my true opinion,
it's McCaffrey.
It's absolutely him. And so you have to be smarter about the usage. We have to be smarter about how often he's used, and you have the talent around him. Because I do think that Mitchell offers a different type of speed out of the backfield that you just don't have. I think Mason offers power that you just don't have, and I think TDP has a combination of both for the usage. So it's just I would just like to see him be smarter about how much he uses McCaffrey, and if that means going back to what Pete was saying, that he's out of the slot more, I'm 100% for it, because it's a mismatch every single time, and it's prolonging and I think making the team better if you're able to build some of these younger guys in that running back position.
I think
Y'all talking about putting McCaffrey in the slot, and I see Frank Watson say putting a running back at the wide receiver position tells you something about the philosophy. I'm not really sure where he's going with that. I feel like we have a lot of interchangeable pieces on offense. I mean, you could just take Juszczyk alone. You know what I'm saying? He could probably do 3-4 things,
including be a tight end.
You know what I mean? So I'm not really sure what he meant by it, but I do feel what y'all saying as far as being able to prolong him, I guess, ultimately for the season. And I think we got a plethora of running backs. What's that other boy name is? Tre'Davious Price.
Tyron Davis. His numbers were horrible last year, 2.9 yards per carry, but his longest carry was 20 yards on a busted play. I mean, he has some potential. He's got some good breakaway speed, but he's got to get touches.
What the line and the offensive line should be better.
Yeah.
They all got a year underneath them. We had a bunch of young pieces.
Yeah. They all they have to be is marginally better with all the talent we have behind them and in front of them.
I think they all be. I think that's a good thing about that offense is last year is we had a lot of very inexperienced players playing big time minutes as far as some of the spots. And now, especially when you consider the line, when you can consider backup running backs, when you consider Purdy and everything like that. And so the more repetition they get, it's definitely gonna go up from that standpoint. So I think they're in a good spot. Shanahan just really gotta let them play, man. He gotta let them make mistakes. That's my biggest thing, man. Is let them make mistakes, like, because I'm not trying to go through what we keep going through in these playoffs with his play calling, man. Like, I think he gets a crazy pass for his play calling in the playoffs, and I'm through giving him a pass on that shit, man, because you spending too much. I think you got bad contracts in places. I ain't gonna go into it now on that offense and shit like that. And so it's just like it's a lot of this is gonna be a lot of our success or our demise is gonna be on Shanahan's shoulders because of the way that he calls games and the ego that comes with him. I love Shanahan, don't get me wrong, but it's obvious some of the problems exist in between his two ears.
Right.
Well, let me address what the question the dude had with the philosophy. The philosophy is Shanahan trying to get the mismatch wherever he can find a mismatch. Think about how he would use Tevin Coleman when he had him in Atlanta, when he had the two running backs. He would run both of them, but would also use them out of the backfield. Tevin Coleman was a better receiving running back than the other guy was. I forgot the other
Freeman,
dude.
I think his name was Freeman.
Well, Devontae Freeman was more.
Devontae Freeman. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Tevin Coleman had the combination. He could run a rock, but he was a better receiver out of the backfield. That's McCaffrey. McCaffrey is that he can carry that rock, but he can also catch. We looking to get the mismatch. Shanahan want to get the mismatch wherever he can find the mismatch, and he got the players who can get the mismatch with Debo. He can do it with McCaffrey. He can get it with Ayuk. We got so many weapons and so many chess pieces he can move to get mismatches, and that's what he's trying to do. That's a philosophy. Shanahan ain't afraid to run nobody. He gonna run the best player. He gonna put the player where he feel for the particular player to get the ball to him. But we looking for the mismatch, and he's looking to attack certain things in the defense with the players that he have. And with this team, with this offensive player that we have, he gonna have a lot of opportunities to attack defenses with the players he have.
And it's like y'all was saying, he's done it correctly, because now you're at a point where you can line these players up interchangeably, as Ben said a little bit earlier, and y'all all hit on. You can line them up anywhere, and you really don't know where the ball is going anymore or how to do. And I think that goes with. I think that's a piece that he had when that Atlanta offense was what they were. Like y'all were saying, you just because somebody was on the field didn't predicate where it was going. Already on top of him being the best play caller in the game. And so it just makes it, you almost have a camouflage over a camouflage now with their ability to line them up.
Which is why Purdy's perfect for as a quarterback there. You got to have somebody.
I knew it was coming.
In the play. It had to come. We're talking about football IQ, and we're talking about playing above the X and the O's. Now, you know what? The steak's back on the grill. Steak's back on the grill. We're cooking now.
Look, y'all talking about that Tampa Bay game. I have to go back and check that out. I still ain't seen him play above the X's and O's yet, but maybe I missed that one. You feel me?
Tampa Bay was a game that proved it to be, bro.
I'll definitely go back and do a little look, and I ain't too bold. You know what I'm saying?
I think the Raiders game was one of the biggest ones for me.
And
after he struggled
I was watching that too yesterday, and that proved to me too that he could bring.
But I will say, Ben's right.
The Raiders.
He
playing within this. All right.
No. I was saying because he struggled in the first half. No. I'm agreeing with you. I'm actually agreeing with Ben, because I think Purdy does have a lot to prove from that X's and O's factors. But also he played really bad in that first half against the Raiders. And then when we had to have it, he came back and single-handedly won us that game.
But it wasn't all on Purdy in that first half. We still got to go back to the Shannon plan.
Oh, it's play calling, but we know it's going to be his play calling. And that's the problem. People aren't going to judge the quarterback play that I've seen with 49er faithful and even the media. They don't judge the quarterback and hold Shanahan accountable
You're right about that.
for
But being able to
for
play above the
his
X's and O's will fix a lot of that.
his playing. But you know what I'm saying? There were a couple of games, you know what I'm saying, that Purdy did struggling, and so he does have a lot to prove. I mean, Purdy could have gone out there and won the Super Bowl and still would have a lot to prove because it would have been an 11-game sample. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But in a run first offense, we're still talking about a pass first quarterback. We're talking about a quarterback. We're focusing on the quarterback. We've got an all-pro running back. We got two potential superstars in the middle with Mason and Mitchell. But at the end of the day, it all goes back to Purdy. Ball distribution and Shanahan's play calling. If he doesn't use these two guys effectively, he's going to burn McCaffrey out. That's why I really wanted to talk about the running backs tonight. And I think everybody hit on that.
All facts. But
you know,
it's also time for Ayuk to be a 1,500-yard receiver.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen this year.
It's also time.
We got 5 minutes left, Press. Give me your Ayuk spill. We're going to pick back up on him next time because I definitely won't get with him. But
Ayuk is that dude. He's a top 10 most underrated player in the league. For three of the 4 years he's been here, he's been underutilized, partially because of quarterback, partially because somebody shouldn't be in front of him that's in front of him, that ain't in front of him. We don't the wide receiver thing, bro. This Ayuk is a top 10 wide receiver in this league, and the only reason he's not is because he plays in San Francisco.
Props.
Well, he's still a top 10 now, and he'll be a top 10 this year no matter who he's playing opposite of. You can't deny the guy's talent.
It's time to give him the ball, bro. It's time to
give him the ball. He's going to get the ball.
And it's time to give Kittle the ball, and it's time to give Jawan the ball. It's like there's dudes out here, you know what I'm saying? There's dudes out here that is really wide receivers.
So
wide receivers, man.
Make an outlying prediction. Trade in the trade lane.
Say it again.
Make an outlier and predicting. I think they're going to trade Debo. How about that?
I think Debo's gone next offseason. You can't.
I think they're going to trade him this season.
I'm not a Debo fan, so we ain't even.
I was just baiting you.
I'm not a Debo fan, but I ain't gonna talk shit on him. But it's just like I damn sure do not want to see George Kittle with less than 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. I want to see Ayuk with less than 10 touchdowns and 1,500 yards, bro. Like if outside,
so we're going to be a 37-point per game football team then.
We were.
I agree.
We were.
600 yards a game total offense.
It also comes down to Shanahan not overusing McCaffrey. McCaffrey doesn't need to be a 2,000-yard running back, and he's too old. He got used like this at Stanford. He got used like this in Carolina. He got used like this in the playoffs, bro. It's like it's like one of the best players in the league, but he is also one of the most injury-riddled players in the league, and he's got to be protected. So
Mitchell, we can question his durability, what we've seen so far, but Mason, we haven't had to do that so far, and he brings. They're so similar, they're dissimilar. So that's why I put a lot of focus on Mason, in my personal opinion. Now, TDP, I'm not sold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll see something in preseason.
Right.
This kid, Ronald Awatt, I read the scouting reports on him. I went back and looked at some of his college games. He's got some wicked lateral speed too, and he's hard to tackle. So I don't know. He might make it into the top 4. TDP don't step up.
What's y'all's opinions on the wide receivers?
Ooh.
Well, Ayuk is, and I think I agree with y'all. He gonna get the ball. He's gonna be really he's receiver number 1, but they ain't get rid of Debo. Debo gonna be there, but that's what I'm saying. We don't need you to run the ball, Debo. We need you to be a receiver, but. If I want to really get the ball to the receiver, I'm going to Ayuk first. That's just me. I like Ayuk. I think Ayuk is, you ain't gonna be able to cover him. I think he'd make the Pro Bowl this year, honestly. And even though, you've been saying we'll run first team, which that's a philosophy. I think with Shanahan and Purdy and having a confidence in Purdy, they're gonna put the ball more up in the air on first down, I believe, because they know teams gonna be gearing up for it. They're gonna be gearing up. They got McCaffrey back there. Oh, they're gonna come trying to run first down, this and that, whatever. I could see them coming out straight drop back, letting Purdy let that thing go because you got the weapons to do it. But no, Juwan is my dog.
Juwan's a dog.
Juwan
is a
man, he got weapons everywhere.
dog.
They ain't getting rid of Debo. Debo gonna be there. Like I said, Debo is that chess piece that, like McCaffrey, you can use and put all over the place. But we saw what Purdy was doing when Debo was hurt. Ayuk was getting that ball.
Oh, and
Ayuk and Jennings was getting that ball.
Kittle became a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL again, like he's supposed to.
But I figure we'll talk about it next week. I want to talk about the 2 rookie tight ends that's behind him, because I really think that Shanahan want to use that double tight end offense. That's the missing piece too to this offense going to the next level.
Absolutely.
Is that double tight end formation set? Because if we can get one of those tight ends to step up, to give Kittle a blow, but to be able to throw the ball to him, and they have that athleticism that Dwelly and the other boy don't have.
Bro.
That's gonna make the offense better too. So I know we'll talk about that next
And
week.
Ray.
That
We got to
tight
talk about
end,
Ray next week.
I'm telling you,
Ray.
that tight end at Oklahoma, that's Jordan Reed. That's Jordan Reed. That's Jordan Reed.
I'm looking forward to preseason. I know.
That's Jordan Reed. I'm telling you.
Yep.
And Shanahan knows it because he had him back in Washington with Kirk Cousins. He knows what he's got in them tight ends. And I think we're gonna have our best year stat wise at our tight ends under the Shanahan era this year.
Well, shit. We'll have that on the docket then for next week, bro. Tight ends, cornerbacks, Steve Wilkes, and hit the D line, because by that time.
Oh yeah, they'll be in pads, right?
Yeah, they'll be in pads this weekend, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So by the time we come back,
so we're gonna do wide receivers.
Yeah, we could hit on the receivers and tight ends. Yeah, because I know y'all want to talk about them a little more.
And defensive backs, you said.
Yeah, DBs and DBs.
What's your take, real quick, Ben, on the wide receivers?
I think I'm with y'all, bro. Ayuk the number 1. He been the number 1 since he came. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it a buck. I'm looking for Danny Gray to do something special. We got the quarterback who could really get it there, or who's not afraid to let it go because it's schemed wide open. Jimmy just wasn't letting a lot of that shit go. You know what I'm saying? Purdy looked like he about letting it go. So we gonna get chunk plays. So I think this is the best receiving core we done had. Y'all already hitting on the little tight ends that we done picked up. We know Kittle a dog, and he, like you saying, he was able to show it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no reason why he shouldn't have been dominating the middle of the field, except people wasn't getting it to him. You feel me? So it's looking good to me, and we know what McCaffrey could do as really the number 2 wide receiver. Let's keep it a buck.
He is the number 2 wide receiver.
You know what I'm saying? So
and that goes back to usage.
We cooking.
Gotta be careful how we use them.
Real shit. So
because Shanahan's known to wear somebody out that he has faith in. But now he's got so many options that if he plays his hand, he could just get out the way almost. Seriously.
Facts.
Real.
Facts. Week 1 in Pittsburgh is gonna be interesting, man, because that's a hard place to play. That ain't an easy place to go into and get a win.
Especially after the season they had last year and all the questions they put up about the Steelers, So we'll see.
It's gonna be a good one.
We're gonna be outside.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Well, fellas. Good shit, man.
Yeah, man. Great first episode, man.
Sir.
Shit, man. Look, y'all rock with us. We gonna get it popping, right? We'll get it growing. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely like the vibe. You feel me? So let's keep it popping till next week. For Uncle Keith, the big homie Press, P Warrior _9, and myself, Benjamin. That's good. The faithful boys. What we bang till we can't no more.
Bang bang.